we're good to go. So I'll mute myself and then you can take over.
Hey, you guys. So I'm so excited to talk to you about recruiting today, which is insane that I'm even talking to you guys about this because it is not my strong suit. I have recently developed it to try to be one of my strong suits, and I've had a lot of success. So I want to share with you what I'm doing currently and what I've not done and done in the past that hasn't worked for me, just so that you can see like where I've come from. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lisa Hauck. I am a wife and a mom of two. I've been coaching for 4 years this summer, so almost 4 years. It took me about a year to be able to retire myself. So I've been working for myself full time as a coach for almost 3 years, which is crazy. And our team did hit elite for the first time last year. So we've definitely put a lot of work in, a lot of things have changed. And recruiting is something that if you want to move your business forward, you have to do it, because once you get to diamond, a lot of us, I feel like, just kind of stick there for a little while and we really don't know what to do to get to the next level and how to develop leaders. But before you can develop leaders, you have to get them in the door. So I want to take you back to when I was a new coach, just because I felt like, and you guys might feel this way too, I felt like I couldn't share about the coaching opportunity because I didn't have anything big enough to share about. And that really stood in my way. Jess Dukes is my coach. And so she was making 6 figures at the time. And I really compared what I was doing to what she was doing. And that made me feel like I didn't have anything to share. So I didn't share. And so it took me 8 months to become a diamond. It doesn't need to take that long. I was a slow grower. This was not something that I was like, I'm going to quit my job. It really wasn't until I got Colin's schedule that basically determined that I was going to have to put him in an after school camp, like the Y, and I wasn't going to be able to get him off the bus. That's kind of when I started treating this like a business, and that's when I realized I had to start talking about coaching, and that is really what it takes. So first things first, you need to go and look at your social media and see how often am I actually talking about the business side of things, and not just like, do you think you're talking about it? Like, are you actually talking about it? I have one of my rock star coaches. She's been on the brink of 1 star for 6 or 7 months. And she said, Lisa, I feel really stuck. I don't know why I'm not bringing on leaders. I don't know why I'm not growing my tribe. Will you go and look at my social? Yeah, girl, I pull it up. I looked at our first 9 grid and I'm like, I know exactly what you're doing. You think you're talking about the business, but I'm like, all I see your messaging is you talk about weight loss, of course. Like, you talk about your journey, you talk about fitness, you talk about your passion. She used the word passion a lot. And I thought to myself, okay, you have this passion. I love living out my passion. But what does that mean? Like, people don't know what that means, right? And then she talked about community. Those were the 3 things that she talked about. And I'm like, you're not actually talking about the business. And so when I say you need to post consistently, at least 3 times a week, make it your goal at least 3 times a week to be talking on your social media about what coaching has done for you. And I need you to put your blinders on, and I need you to not care what anyone else in the business has accomplished. This is about you and where you're going. So before you can really start this process of having a goal of posting and talking about this, you actually have to be clear for yourself what you want out of coaching. So if you haven't like sat down, and I need to redo this actually. This is something that you'll do often. You won't do this one time, but you need to paint out your vision, because the vision of what you want for yourself, and listen, don't be shy about it. If you want to be a top 10 coach and right now you're sitting at coach or emerald, it's okay to talk about that, because you're going to be talking on this level, right? You're going to bring people with you. But it's almost one of those things, like, if you don't talk about income, like, I always hated talking about income, but someone said once, and I don't know where I heard it, so I can't give credit, but it made so much sense to me. They're like, why would you never talk about income until you hit 6 figures? Because then people will be like, wait, did you do that overnight? Like, let them see you work. Let them see you ascend to greatness. You know, it's just like when we have new coaches coming on board and they say, well, I don't really want to coach because I'm not perfect yet. I don't have a 6-pack, or I still have a lot of weight to lose. like I started at 40 pounds overweight and I let people watch me lose the weight and I shared my journey along the way. Coaching is the same thing. Like you started from the bottom, now you're here. You got to show them where you're going, right? So if you're an emerald coach and you have big goals and you want to be a diamond, that means you're building a team. If you're a diamond and you want to hit elite, that means you want to build a badass team, right? You have to project that onto your social media. You have to be really confident in what you're capable of before you've done it. And I know that that's really hard, but you have to have belief in yourself, map where you're going, and take your people with you, because the people who are like, man, I want that, even if you don't have it yet and that's your goal, then like they're going to see the path and you're going to say, this is where I'm going, who's going with me? So have confidence in what you're saying, belief in yourself, and painting your vision. So everything that I'm going to share with you can't happen until you do that. So do a brain dump. Even if you've done one, I want you to do a brain dump again. You should have a vision board. You should look at it every day and you should read this vision to yourself. Some sort of like I am letter of what you want. My I am letter says that I am a top 10 coach. Like that scares the shit out of me, okay? Like I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. But what I can tell you is that I wasn't recruiting any coaches at all. And what I can tell you is that I know that a top 10 coach recruits coaches. And so I was like, okay, sometimes you have to be really honest with ourselves and say, this is the gap in my business. Like I'm really good at this and I have this on autopilot. Once you figure that out, like helping people on their health and fitness journey, doing whatever, like figure one thing out and then move on to the next piece. For me, my next piece was recruiting. The way that it looked like for me back in the day was there was a fearlessly fit, I almost said power hour, happy hour. So I invited to that. I wasn't speaking on it. I just would invite to it. And they were the worst invites you ever seen, you guys. Like no one wanted a piece of it. Like I just was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. They were the worst call to action. Seriously, we all start somewhere. You have to start getting it out. And it's okay if you don't get a response at first, because you're going to make adjustments and then you're going to have success with that. So my suggestion for you is to start where you're at and just start showing up. Something that I used to do back in the day was invite to these and I wouldn't follow up very much. Like I would just be like, well, if they're interested, they're gonna just, let me know. Kind of like sending an invite for your challenge group and being like, well, let me know, girl. No, you want to direct, would you like to take a spot in my next boot camp? You want a direct call to action. You want a direct question so you get a direct answer, or they ghost you. That happens too. And then you proceed other ways, right? You got to do the same thing for coaching. So back in the day, I was inviting to these happy hours and I didn't get that much success, like every once in a while. Well, I was on live all the time. I went live on my Facebook page every single day. And finally, Jess was like, why don't you co-host? Like you're crushing it, you're hitting Success Club, you're going live all the time. Why don't you co-host? And I saw that I knew I was going to take my time and I was going to host one of these. So one of these 10-minute slots was mine. And so it gave me a little extra hustle for me to make sure that that was worth my time. So I suggest running your own sneak peek. That might sound very scary for some of you if you've never run your own sneak peek. And it was for me, because let me tell you, I lived a long time in this gap where I just did my little 10-minute piece, everyone else did theirs, and I recruited, but I didn't recruit that much. I didn't recruit that well. It was maybe like one coach a week, which I was happy with, to be honest. I was still recruiting coaches, right? I was growing. I was making progress. Well, all of a sudden those disappeared from my downline. Like my upline didn't run them anymore. And she was like, you know what? Her thought was, I'm not going to create leaders if I'm constantly running this for them. And because I always had a spot, like, of course, like Lisa's always going to be on there, right? Like I had a spot. I didn't think to run my own. You want to be the face of it. The people who are following your social media, they want to see you. Like they don't want to see me up there talking about my story. It's great to have like feedback and give like community feel. That's awesome. But they want to hear from you. They want your story. And that's really what's going to sell them. So I went for this whole gap. And I wasn't inviting at all because I wasn't running them anymore. So I just stopped. And then what really got me like focused on it was she would do these leaderboards of like so-and-so added this many coaches and this many coaches. And I'm like, well, my name is always 0. Like, what's happening? And so I had to say, I got to change things. And so I said, what are you doing? What's working for you? And she said, I run a coaching sneak peek every single week. And I almost like threw up. I'm like, every week? Like, that's a lot of breadcrumbs and that's a lot of work. And that's, and I just thought to myself, like, can I really do all that? Yeah, I can. And I did. And it worked. So I found someone to pair up with. So I highly recommend finding someone that you can run a sneak peek with. Someone who matches your energy level. They don't necessarily have to be the same rank as you. You just need to be on the same page. You both need to be hustling. You both need to be showing up. You need to be accountable. Like, you need to be, if you say, I'm going to host a sneak peek with you every single week, you have to show up. And you know what? Some weeks you show up and you do your part, even though maybe you didn't recruit as hard for it that week, but you still hold up your end of the bargain for your partner. But it's nice because it definitely gives like 2 stories instead of just your own. It shares the workload. So you're only going live 2 times. So the way that we have them structured, I run it with Lauren Hager, if you guys know her. She's amazing. She has like such great social media content. And she was like, you know what? I'm struggling with the same thing. Like, I know that my business needs, like, this part of it needs to be improved. So you're talking about 2 people who regularly hit Success Club. We've been coaching for a while, but both of us were struggling in recruiting coaches. So neither one of us had this down, and we figured it out together. So we actually created a template. If you guys would like, I would be happy to pass it on to you. It literally says, like, we open the group this day. We do a welcome post this day. On day 1, Lauren shares her story. Lisa shares her story. On day 2, she talks about this and I talk about this. Literally, it's all mapped out. You guys can totally copy it. We started and it was 3 days, and we found that 3rd day we did it from a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we were ending it on a Friday, and we were like, you know what? Like, people are busy on Friday. We don't want to like go live on Friday. And so we were making adjustments as we went. Recently, over the past few weeks, we cut it down to where it's only 2 days. So this is taking us trial and error. The first month and the first few weeks, I didn't recruit any coaches, but I honed in on my story. We really created our graphics. We use the same graphics over and over again. So what we do is we open up a group at the very beginning of the month, and we use that same group for the entire month. So we'll do our sneak peek for the week. On Monday, it's cleared out, meaning we delete all of our posts, but all of our people who joined us, they still stay in there. And so we add more people in. The reason why we started to close it after each month is because Facebook doesn't love when you have a ton of people and very little engagement. And so it also gives you an opportunity to follow up and say, hey girl, we're going to be moving over. Were you interested in coaching? Are there any questions that I have for you or that you have for me? And would you like to move on into the next one if you're on the fence? It gives them an opportunity to say yes or no, or you know what, I just want to think about it. Almost like an end date, right? So that's something that we just started. I feel like it's working really well. That gives us a few weeks to kind of build up in there. And like I said, we just clear it out. So you can literally go in once a month, schedule all your posts. I schedule the same posts every single week. She schedules the same posts. I do the same exact live. So I can hone in on my topic, which is, talking about the cost, how much it costs to be a coach, how we earn income. And if you need, like for me, I watched one of my coaches and I took notes on it and I practiced it those first few weeks when I was like figuring out my social media. How often should I post? How often should I talk about this? What is getting engagement? Through those few weeks, that first month, that was really me getting used to it. And you know what? You learn as you go. And now I've got it down. I can do it quick. 10 minutes, I'm in, I'm out. And just last week, I recruited 5 coaches in 1 week, which I think is incredible. Like if you can put that on repeat and recruit 15 to 20 coaches a month, what would that do for your business? What would your business look like? Would you have like a super padded diamond? Would you potentially, out of 2 of those 15 or 20, would they become rock stars? Probably. Like it is a numbers game. There's a lot of people who come into coaching and they say they want X, Y, Z, but not everyone does that. Like, you have to know that some people are going to be discount coaches. They're not always going to actually want to coach, even though they want what you have and they want the life that you're leading. They're not really willing to put the work in. So this is the other piece that I really wanted to share with you guys. When you're speaking about coaching on your social media, different ways that you can talk about this is like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're serious about coaching, you're going to do something related to coaching every single day. So don't say, I don't know what to post for a breadcrumb. Literally, where are you sitting? What are you wearing? It doesn't really matter that you're cute or that you have like a blanket on your lap right now or fuzzy socks on and that you're sitting at your kitchen table. Like, go set your phone down, take a picture, and talk about what you're doing. Are you scheduling out a boot camp? Like, what freedoms does this give you? And I realized that one of my coaches, like, I'm like, you're taking for granted everything coaching has given you. And she is a full-time stay-at-home coach now. Like, she was able to retire herself from her teaching job. And I was like, what do your mornings look like? And she's like, well, Jay and I eat breakfast together every day. That's her husband. And I'm like, well, did you get to eat breakfast with Jay when you were a teacher? No. I'm like, that's a gift. That is a gift that coaching gave you. So it's like, think about all of the gifts. If coaching were to just leave your life today and you didn't have any part of it, what would be missing in your life? What would you not have? Those are the kinds of things that you need to put out on social media while you're sharing where you're going and what you're doing. And your sneak peeks need to match that. You need to talk about that you work. You need to tell them that it is hard. This is not easy. You are going to start at zero people in your back office, 0 coaches, 0 customers, but I have some really cool trainings and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do what I did. That is what you need to put out there, because people are willing to have, like, if they want what you have, they're willing to work for it. You just need to set the precedence, right? It's just like fitness. Like, you can take a diet pill if you want to. Like, good luck with that working. Like, you're just going to be at square one, right? When you show people that, like, what works and how to do it, there's a formula to this. It's the same thing with coaching, and you can basically put that on repeat. So paint your vision. Know that for yourself. Put that out on social media, and do not be upset if you're just starting this and you don't talk about coaching a lot and you don't do call to actions a lot. Give yourself a solid month. Don't, like, it's really easy to be like, oh, nobody wanted into my sneak peek. Like, I don't have anyone in there. Do you want to know what I did on the first week of my sneak peek? Because I literally had 2 people who were interested in being in the sneak peek. I messaged my team and I put the link for them. And I said, hey, you guys, Lauren and I are trying something new. I want you to come into the group and watch how we're going to be doing these new sneak peeks. I artificially populated my group to where it looked like it had 30 or 40 girls in it. So my 2 prospects didn't feel like, oh, there's 2 people in here. Like, nobody's interested in this. Like, work it out. Like, go to your team and be like, you guys, we're running a sneak peek. It's our first one. Can 10 or 20 of you guys hop in here? Like, teamwork makes the dream work, you guys. Like, fake it till you make it, right? You're going to get better. And now I don't know if you can see it. I have this gold thing behind me, and it says, like, there were 16 empty spots on there. And I'm like, you know what? That's how many coaches I'm going to try to recruit every single month. There's 16 blank spots. Why not? So I've got 7 in there for this month so far. And also, like, let me just tell you, for those of you who don't know, I just went through a double mastectomy in January. I just had another surgery 3 weeks ago, which was the second half of this. My husband and I own another business. We flip houses. We're currently flipping a house. I'm like single mom life and recovering from a surgery, and my kids are on spring break. And I still pulled that out of my butt, which I think is like totally amazing. And I'm just like, get it, girl. Like, yes. Because you know what? It was hard for me to change. It was hard for me to look in the mirror and be like, you have to get your crap together. Otherwise, you're not going to get to where your goal is. So be okay looking in the mirror and saying, like, okay, yeah, for real, like, I have this thing and I don't really actually check off these 4 boxes. If you actually have a tracker and you track your business, it's going to show you where your weak spots are. Don't take that as something negative. Take that as I know what I'm doing good. Like, I'm awesome at these things. These things I need a little work on. So where are your gaps? Bridge the gap. get really good at bridging the freaking gap, because there's going to be a lot of gaps and your gaps are going to change always. So a little while ago, I felt like, you know what, I'm not converting my challenge packs. Like, I'm talking with people and I feel like I should be getting more sales. Why am I not? Okay, I think they're interested, but it doesn't end in a sale. So where am I missing? Like, there's a link missing, right? I had to step back again. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me go into the champions page. I'm obsessed with the champions page. And I typed in inviting. And there was a video that came up that was 10 minutes long. It was not posted by Emily Favre, but it was an Emily Favre video posted by Kim Carver, I think. Anyways, it was very, very good. And I watched her method and I was like, I like that. I'm going to try it. I hit Success Club 41 that month, right after I had a double mastectomy, because I did the Emily Favre method, is what I call it now. And it reminded me, like, this is what I used to do when I was a new coach. And then I got too big for my panties and started doing like some email series. Well, you know what? That's not working for me. So let me go back to what was working. And I figured that out by looking at the gap. So if your gap is recruiting, I want you to know that you already are a badass. You need to act like you are. You need to put that out on social media. You need to tell them where you're going, and you need to mimic that in your sneak peeks every single week, because your success will build up. It will be undeniable. And nevertheless, like, they're going to know that you're relentless and you are not going away. And I want you to share every single freaking tiny success that you have. And it doesn't matter how small it is. It doesn't matter. Don't look at your coach and what she's doing and the trip that she's going on and her 6 figures that she made in 4 weeks. Like, holy God, I want to be there. That'd be great, but I'm not right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on what I'm doing really well. And I'm going to talk about my tribe like they're the most amazing freaking women I've ever met in my life, because they are, right? And you just need to make every tiny thing you do a big deal. They don't know. Like, I mean, they don't know, like, I'm about to blow up my social media and be like, you guys, I just did this amazing call. There's 6 people on here. Who cares? No one on my social media knows that. You act like you're amazing, okay? You have to know that inside of yourself. You have to know that you're a badass. You have to know that you're the CEO and act like you're a CEO of, $1 million company, because you are. It is inside of you. You just have to let it out. Like, stop stopping yourself. We're the only ones in our way. And I hope by me sharing all the crap that I've done wrong shows you that any elite coach that you see, any successful top 10 coach, we do things wrong. We're not awesome. Like, we're not perfect. There's no difference between me and you. The only difference is when we get knocked down, we get back up and we try something new, and you will find success. And don't get down on yourself when stuff doesn't work. Like, change your wording up, change the times that you're posting things. Make sure your content is good on social media. And like, there's still so many things that I have to work on. It's a work in progress. And who knows, like, this week, maybe I will recruit 1 person or 10 people or 3 people. But to me, what matters is I know that I'm doing a process and that it's going to work, and I'm going to put it on rinse and repeat until it stops working. And then when it stops working, I'm going to go try something else, because that's the only way for entrepreneurship to work. Like, Instagram, they're like changing their algorithm. Everybody's like freaking out because change is happening. That's normal. Get used to it. That's how it's always going to be. Like, Captivate's going to work for like a hot minute. So if you've noticed, if there's something that's working for people and everyone's like, I'm using this to grow my Instagram, use it quick, because it's going to be played out and they're going to shut it down. Like, it's like there's seasons of your business that what was working for you, if it's not anymore, there's nothing wrong with you. You know what I mean? The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I really hate inviting a lot. And so I don't do it on like, I invite, okay? I invite. I don't like inviting people that I don't know. I like inviting people who are following me. That's how I like to invite. So if you have this idea in your head about inviting, I think for me, I had to switch it. And when it was like, invite 50 people a day, and I just felt like I was just inviting people, I almost felt like I was like burning a bridge. Like, it just didn't feel good to me. And then I was like, I don't want to do this activity. So I literally just stopped doing it for a while because I didn't love the way that I was doing it. So if you feel like I don't want to invite to this, then I need you to think about it a little bit differently. And so you don't have to have a big social media following. I think you just have to have the right social media following. This is not a huge strength of mine. I pay Jumper Media to grow my Instagram for me because I don't want to go through and do follows, right? And so I love attraction marketing. Attraction marketing is growing the number of eyes that are looking at you and talking about what you're doing in a way that they have to reach out to you to ask you what it is that you're doing. People don't even know that I'm a Beachbody coach. And I love that. It's one of the best compliments I can get. They're like, oh, this is Beachbody? Yeah, girl, it's awesome. Come do it with me. Like, I love that because that means I'm doing my job well. Like we shouldn't, right? You guys know, like no Shakeology pictures, like that sort of thing. Like I don't use any trainer names, program names. You should have seen I just started Brazilian butt lift, like the oldest program in the book. And I talked about it. I'm like, y'all, I'm doing this new booty program because I have mom butt going on. And I made it funny. Do y'all know about the pencil test? Because if you put a pencil in your butt cheek and it stays there, your butt is saggy. Well, I can hold on to a pencil right now real good, y'all. And I was just like, oh my God, what the crap? Like, I need to get rid of this butt, right? I made it something funny. And I'm like, I did this program 2 years ago. My booty was fantastic when I went to Jamaica. So mom's going to redo that. I can't even tell you how many messages I got, like, what booty program are you doing? What is this? Like I probably had like 50 messages of like, what are you doing? Because I didn't say I'm doing Brazilian butt lift on Beachbody on Demand, right? Like keep things a little bit casual and make them be like, what is she doing? And that's going to draw more people to you because, you're not going to be screaming Beachbody. They're going to know exactly what you're doing. They're going to know exactly what you're about. So be about you, be about your vision, be about your story, be about all the other things in your life that you are, which I need to be better about that balance. Like I love hair and makeup and fashion and decorating and like all of those things don't typically make it to my feed. I don't know what's wrong with us coaches, but as soon as we become a coach, we become like this robot. And we're like, we are only health and fitness people. Eat clean, never eat a donut. I don't have anything else happening in my life. Like if you strike that balance, and I'm telling you, find one person. You guys don't have to be perfect at this. I will send Christy my exact layout of what I post, what we do, what we talk about. Lauren and I have kind of figured this out over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and it has been working very well for both of us. She recruited 3 coaches last week. Like, just think to yourself, how would you feel if you recruited 3 coaches a week? How would that make you feel? That would make you feel really good. Is that worth 4 weeks of effort of practicing with someone else, getting to know someone on your team, which is really awesome. Like Lauren and I are so close, and she messaged me and she was like, girl, thank you so much for reaching out and just asking me to do this because my business has changed. It forces you to talk about coaching because you are not going to waste your time and hop on 2 live videos, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday, and schedule out posts for nothing to happen. You're going to talk about coaching. And then it gives you something to talk about. Then you're going to be like, you guys, I just went live and I just did my sneak peek and I'm talking all about, I love to share my story because this is what it's done for me. So you can almost like share publicly, even though you're sharing privately. So please do yourself a favor. Don't hold yourself back from just trying this. Give it a month or 2. It will change your business because when I saw my coach, she went from around like a 6 star to a 15-star in a matter of a few months. Like we're talking 2 to 3 months because she painted her vision. She said, I want to be a 15-star diamond team and I want to do this by the end of the year. And I want to link arms with girls who want to do this with me, who want what I have. And she put that out there. And so it doesn't matter what you have. Write down every freaking positive thing that you can about coaching, everything that you love about it, and everything that it's going to provide for you. Just put it out into the universe, and you will attract the people who want the same thing that you want. And now I have a problem. Like, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta train all these girls. Like, I gotta level up. Now I have 5 new coaches. So I'm like, oh gosh, I really gotta focus on my process of how I'm onboarding these people. And so it brings up new, really awesome problems for you to have. And it's like, well, let's figure out the next thing. And then all of a sudden you have a recruiting process, you have a getting started right process. Like, you have so much stuff, and a lot of this is already set up for you. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel. You're the only one that has, you just have to put yourself out there. You're the unique piece in all of this. You have what it takes. You are enough. Your story is important and impactful enough. It doesn't matter if you haven't even had a weight loss transformation at all. You've had a transformation in here. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be on this call. Like, you're here because you want more from your life. And how many women out there want more for their life? How about all of us? Because if some woman walks up in my house and says, I don't want any more for myself, I'm like, girl, stop lying to both of us. You need to stop lying to yourself. You know you want more. We all want all the things. This can provide it for you if you dig in and you do the work and you get really freaking uncomfortable about running a sneak peek every week. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what's going to get me those 15 diamonds up there, because that is my goal. And I had to stare at that for a few months and be like, I don't think that's going to happen by doing what I'm doing. So it's totally cool. And it doesn't matter where you're at. I promise you, it doesn't matter if you're a coach and you're on here and you've been a coach for 5 weeks, or a year and you've been a coach for a year. It doesn't matter. It's a decision. It's a decision to change. It's a decision to become diamond. It's a decision to become elite. It's a decision to become anything. First, you just have to set your mind to it. So I'm not kidding. I'm going to say it one last time before I hand it back to Christy. Please map out your vision. Write yourself a letter. I accidentally, and you know what? I don't believe in accidents. I believe that God knows what he is doing. I have been struggling so hard with this second part of my surgery. So much pain. Like, they were like, oh, this is going to be so easy. They lied. It is not easy. This was not easy. I would do the double mastectomy over 10 times to not have to do what I just did the past 3 weeks. It has been so hard. I am not kidding. So freaking hard. I feel like I am starting over again. Like, I'm rebuilding my body from the ground up. I'm literally crying every day in my workouts because I feel so weak. And also my mind wants to do so much and my body can't accomplish it. And I thought, oh my gosh, Lisa, this is your opportunity. Because do you want to know what happened when I was a brand new coach at 40 pounds overweight? I cried my way through my workouts because Autumn was like, hold in your abs. And I'm a 2-time C-section mom. And I'm like, girl, what abs? It's easy for you. You have abs and fake boobs. You're amazing. I hate you. And then I love Autumn. She freaking transformed my body. She did all these amazing things for me. And I realized I get to relive every single moment and take myself and my followers through my journey all over again. That very day that I was listening to, you guys, there's a podcast I listen to that gets me fired up every morning. I kid you not. It is free. It's an app on Spotify. It's called Fearless Motivation. I'm sure you've heard of it. Turn it on, blare it into your ears, and it will give you a good smack in the face every single morning, and it will motivate you to want to keep going. So I was listening to that, crying my way through my workout, and I found my I am letter. That day, I happened to find it, a letter that I wrote to myself a year ago. I sat down, I read that letter, I cried my eyes out, and I was like, let's get to work. Those letters from yourself to yourself, you read those every single day, you pour your heart and soul into them, and you truly believe the words that you write down on that paper, it is going to speak volumes into your life. I went to our quarterly, what is it called? Our quarterly thing, our super weekend. And I ended up getting the Rise Up book because Moira was actually our speaker. She talked like so hard about vision. And it's funny because like vision has worked for me. I will tell you, you guys, I just love sharing. I get so excited about this stuff. I will tell you one of the worst days in my business was I was a diamond coach and I didn't hit Success Club for the very first time. I hit Success Club 4 and I sat in my kitchen in the floor and literally cried. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm not cut out for this. I'm not good at this coaching thing. What am I going to do? I already quit my job. Like I got to figure this out. And I remember sitting, my office was in a different place, and I was sitting on the couch and I was looking at my vision board, and I looked at the goals that I had on there, and I was like, I am never going to get to that goal unless I do something different. It's that thing every time, and it's me staring at it. So create the vision board. You don't have your vision, do it. You don't have a vision board of some pictures that literally represent where you're going to be and what you want to accomplish. You have to do this first. This is the key. And that's going to drive you through. Even if you have a couple of dry months or something goes awry, it's going to smack you in the face and be like, oh yeah, I'm working for that. So if you read it every day and it's in front of your face every day, you're going to work really hard. And she talked about that in the Rise Up. I don't know if you guys are familiar, you probably are, but I love that in the back, she has that like proof of like what I'm doing and that it is actually, you know, adding up to everything. So I think this is cool. I haven't used it yet, but I'm excited because it really hones in like to read your vision every morning and to look at the end of the day that you are making strides. It is very easy for us in our line of work to start comparing to other coaches and what they're doing. Y'all unfollow and do you, boo, because you are the piece that is going to make this thing happen, not anybody else. People are buying you. They're not buying Ashley Molstead. Like, who the fuck cares about Ashley Molstead? She drinks too much, okay? Like, I don't even like her, right? She's not my people. So her people are going to go to her, and my people are going to come to me, and your people are going to come to you. So couple of truth bombs there. Now you guys know who Lisa freaking Hauck is, and that I'm not like a PDF, you know, kind of girl. I'm just a here it is kind of girl. And I hope that you took something really amazing away from today, and you just know that you're special. You're already special. You just need to put your shit out there.
Oh my gosh, girl, you make me laugh so hard. I don't like Ashley Molstead either, I'll be the first to admit. She was the #1 coach of the year. I was actually ashamed for Beachbody.
I know, you're like,
yeah, I was
really?
like,
Come on.
that's who's going to represent us this year? Cool. So that's so funny that you said that. But such a good call. Can I ask you one question? Because I think something that would be really good for my coaches.
You can ask me anything.
Awesome. So I want to know, on Thursdays, do you recommend coaches and stuff to share about that it's payday, whether it buys them their groceries or a new pair of sweatpants or this or that? And also to, if they don't have a team, like, you know, like my team, I have a big team now, and, you know, we have a leaderboard and a success club board, to share that board for them to say, hey, this, I always tell my girls, like, and maybe you could double think, is like, if it's not your emerald, who cares? Shout them out. Nobody knows that that's not your Coach Break Advancing, or that's your Success Club board, or that's this, or your payday, or something like that. So what do you think about that? Because Thursdays are real big days in our business. And I always say, that's the first thing I say every Thursday. It's my favorite day of the week. Like, you know?
Yes. I 100% recommend that. So it goes the same thing for you guys have check-ins in your challenge group. And well, at least how we have it is like every Monday is our check-in, right? And I personally run mine with like a few other coaches. So if you do that, or you see other people's wins, even if their coaches win, like, hey, I lost 2 pounds, I will screenshot that and I put it in my stories. It's no different for coaching. It is no different than taking someone else's before and afters and being like, look, you know, it's the same thing. And it is your team. It's still your team. I mean, we are all Team Beachbody, right? Like I am a different coach, and I am on here at 9 o'clock at night to breathe life into you, to help you, to show you that you can do this. Like, we want for each other to all succeed. Like, this business is not a selfish business, you know, like it's a business where we lift each other up, and this is your team. So 100% talk about everything. Talk about your leaderboard. Who cares? Like, who cares that it's not yours? Own your team. I own that we are a 15-star diamond team because Jess is, and I am a freaking huge part of that. So I say we are ranked as a top team. And I mean, I am elite, right? My team, Brave Beauties, is elite, but I own Jess's success. I feel like that because I'm such a part of it that I don't mind saying that at all. And you shouldn't mind saying it either. And it doesn't matter how much you made. You should talk about what it's done for you. You don't ever have to talk about a dollar amount. You don't ever have to say, I only made $30. It really is your perception on what is happening. So if you feel that way, I always will go to my coach and I'm like, girl, okay, I want to talk about this, but then when you start making a little more money, then you almost feel bad and then you don't want to talk about it. Get used to talking about the income and what it's doing for you. Now, when I talk about it, like I make 3 times more now than I made at my job when I worked in corporate America and I had an hour and a half commute each way, an hour and a half in the opposite direction of my children, and someone else controlled my schedule, right? And so I talk about it's not about the money. Like I could care less about the money. What I care about is what it does for me, and that gives me time freedom. Because this week on spring break, I am completely unplugging and I am like hanging out with my kids, making memories. That is what this business does for me. So when you say something very simple like, y'all, I got my nails done on Beachbody this week, well, Beachbody, but you know what I mean? Like, if you say you got your nails done, how many women, can I just tell you, like, I never get my nails done because I'm like, $30, like I'll paint them myself. And that's such a pampering thing for us. Like how many women would love to treat themselves? Or it doesn't matter what you're doing with that money. You bought your kids some new shoes, or you put groceries on the table. There's so many women out there who would love to make $500 a month. Like it would change their world. And so don't pretend like you're $50 or whatever. And you don't even have to relate it to money. I helped 3 women change their lives. You know, like you don't have to relate it to money. You can talk about lives change. You can look at your team and say like, we changed 47 lives. 47 lives. It doesn't have to be what you did. Definitely own your team, own all of your successes because you're all doing it together. And every single Thursday, you should be shouting out someone. It doesn't matter who. Like, find someone to shout out.
Awesome. I appreciate you so much. I do have that Rise Up tracker. Chelsea recommended it to us a couple of months ago, and then I told my team to get it. So I definitely have it too, and I like it.
Do you like it? I go through books like it's nobody's business. I haven't found like my perfect planner yet.
I know. I keep buying them all too, and I'm like, I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I'm a planner hopper, so we'll see what happens. But I just want you guys to come away with this knowing that you can do this. Like you really, really can. Like it puts a lump in my throat because I started this business with 0 confidence and 0 social media, 0 skills. Like I don't even know how to record these calls and post them in my team page. Like my husband, I'm not kidding, like has to help me do that. And I have an elite team. Like no one is perfect. You are perfect just the way you are. You just need to know that in your heart, because once you do, it's almost like you are unstoppable because you believe in you. That really is enough. Paint out your freaking vision, pair up with someone. When this call is over, I want you to really think about your vision and think about someone on your team. And if you can't find anyone on your immediate team that you work well with, go to a different team, find someone to run these with, and be consistent and don't give up on yourself, and you will start recruiting coaches. Then you're going to come back and be like, Lisa, what do I do when I recruit 7 coaches in a week? How do I onboard these people? Like, you know, it's just going to cause really awesome, better problems for you to solve in your business. So I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this. And just know, like, when a coach that is successful is telling you what works, go do it. Mm-hmm. Just go do it, because we're not telling you that it works because we think it works. We've already like been in the trenches and been trying what has worked and been through all of the failures. So, you know, the national wake up call and stuff, like hone in on those. Look at Beachbody Champions page. Maybe what I said didn't resonate with you, but there is something that you can always take these little pieces from everybody. And what happens is you make your business your own, and then you really have ownership over it. And so when I talk about being a CEO of Brave Beauties, I really feel that down to my soul because I have worked so hard to create every single little piece. So take from it what you will, but take it and run with it and know that it will work for you. Hands down.
Thank you so much. I recorded this, so I will, put it up, and